Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Dominion Gaming TV. My name is Wolf and I'm joined by a good sir and a good friend of mine. How are you, Shockwave?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good, thank you. And we're going to be doing a duo cast here of Game 2 of that InArmourClad Big Ben series. Let's introduce where they are and what map this is. Spawning in the bottom left hand side of Wirlwind in the purple trunks, playing as Terran, fighting for the Dominion. His name is InArmourClad.
And spawning up here in the top right hand corner as the Protoss pieces, we have BGBN Big Ben.
Alright.
So this is going to be a TVP, so you're the Terran player. What should you be seeing out of Big Ben?
Oh, if I was playing as Big Ben, what should I be watching for from the Terran?
Yes.
Okay, essentially I just gotta check gas, really, make sure that he's not going in some sort of funky balls deep 6-gate, or no, not 6-gate, like gasless 6-racks or whatever, and then I can, if he is doing that, I can counter it completely and utterly easily. But otherwise, it's just going to be standard, looking for what he's doing when he's placing his crap down, making sure he's not going to be doing any funky ass cheeses or anything along those lines.
So it looks like we're going to have a command center first here out of InArmourClad. Looking at the map, it's actually a good choice to do this. Wirlwind sporting on cross positions. They don't know that yet, but command center first on this map is pretty decent. Huge map, actually a long rushed instance, and he's going to finish that wall off with a barracks going down on the 15 supply. And we're just seeing the second pylon come down for Big Ben now.
It seems just pretty standard play here, especially on a map like Wirlwind, and especially cross positions now that Big Ben knows that it's cross positions. You can really take advantage of that whole greedy element that players love to go for, those long macro games, and yeah, it's just standard as standard can be, especially on Wirlwind. But we won't see it for that long anymore in tournament play. It's getting quite old, unfortunately. It's one of my favorite maps.
We are seeing a second racks come down here for InArmourClad. We're looking at 2 gas now from Big Ben, and he actually does have the 2 workers in one gas, or he hasn't set up his second gas just yet. Either that's deliberate or he's forgotten to put workers in there, and if he's forgotten to put them in there, that's going to ruin his build.
Well, it's not a big deal really, just getting here the 4 workers in the gas. I've seen a lot of people do it these days just simply because of the fact that, hey, you don't really need that many people on gas in this early stage of the game. We do see here just a reap opener coming up here for InArmourClad. He's probably just going to be using it just obviously for scouting purposes that Terrans like to do. Obviously, a bit of internet issues going on there during the game. But really, we'll see what the Protoss wants to do after this. After the sub-minute score is generally when we see what the Protoss generally wants to do. Does he want to go Blink play? Does he want to go Colossus? Does he want to go Storm? We'll find out in a short moment.
So he's chrono boosting his warp gate, which means he does want to be a bit more aggressive, or he wants to get his attacking units out a bit quicker. From a Protoss perspective, would that be spot on?
Not exactly. You can't. A lot of people do just chrono boost the warp gate, just for defensive purposes. Anyway, the sooner you can warp out those units, the sooner you can just get units in quicker, faster, and get those warp in cycles, just purely for defensive sakes. Anyway.
And we have InArmourClad finally scouting which side is the right side to locate Big Ben. He sees 2 producing gateways now. He's going to assume that warp gate is underway no matter how far he is in, and he also does see the Nexus as well. So he should be going into this feeling pretty confident. He's going 2 base against 2 base right now, starting his +1 attack upgrades, getting his attack upgrades out before Protoss, and the Protoss attack upgrades just add insane amounts of damage to the Protoss units.
Indubitably. Currently, not a whole lot happening, but here's that key tech that I was talking about. The robotics facility has come down, so more than likely Colossus play is on the way, but there is a good chance that he could go for some sort of Immortal all-in, but it's not that viable, especially against Terran. But yeah.
So we are looking at the 3-gate robo. Standard play from Protoss nowadays. His Cybernetics core is just finishing up on warp gate research, pulling half of his workers down to saturate his second base, which is what he should be doing. And we see just InArmourClad getting up his marine forces, throwing down another barracks, a factory, halfway through his +1 upgrades and getting some more supply depots so he's not supply blocked.
Just getting the stim here, and probably going to be going straight up to medevacs. Just going to be keeping it safe, keeping it standard. Could go on for some early pressure, or just put on some pressure as soon as those medevacs come out. But for the time being, it's just going to be getting up all those units to defend and macro.
And we are seeing the Twilight Council, so that says he is hoping to get Storms up quickly, maybe even Archons as well. Which is typical Protoss play against Terran.
I wouldn't actually be surprised if the robotics facility was simply just for the observer to get the scouting information, so that he knows what his opponent is doing. So in most cases, it's somewhat effective just simply because of the fact that, hey, I know what you're doing now, I can counter it. But yeah, +1 just going to be starting up here for our Protoss player Big Ben. And it's going to be chrono boosting that stuff out because all of that goodness damage is awesome.
So, and also another thing with the Robo facility, having it on the back burner here, is if you see that he's going a heavy marine play or something that's really vulnerable to Colossi, you just throw down the robotics bay and just start pumping out Colossi.
Exactly. It's also good and great to have these sort of options available to you if needed.
And we are seeing a warp prism, so we're looking at some drop play or some warp-in harassment in InArmourClad, so we'll see how he responds to this. A fair few Marines, handful of Marauders, he's got the +1 finish, Stim's almost done, his armor upgrades is now on the way as well, and there's the blink that you said should be coming out of Big Ben in time with the +1 attack.
I do believe this will just be purely for a bit of pressure, especially with this warp prism. He'll probably maybe put on a little feign pressure at the front while warping in the main. It's kind of standard these days for Protossers who like to go a warp prism and harass style play. I've been seeing more and more Protossers like to actually go this Terran-esque style of using the warp prisms a lot, and it's been quite effective from what I have seen. But yeah, see how it plays off right now.
Yeah, and we do see the factory coming in for the scout from InArmourClad. This is just basically announcing that he doesn't want to be doing any sort of armor play or any sort of mech play. He's just going straight Marine Marauder, proven time and time again to crush Terrans on their arse.
Warp Prism does come in here now. There are a lot of units here. Stalker's actually being opted to be spawned here. I wonder if this is because Blink is almost done, but he's probably going to lose a lot of them. He needs to be very careful. May pick off 1 or 2. Nope. Picks up
only 1.
Picks up the good old Warp Prism and backs off here. Just going to be having a look around for another entrance of attack, or maybe just go back to base. Either way.
Well, that's the good thing about getting these 3 Stalkers out of there. What's the point of putting them in and flying them away? If you can do some harassment, delay some of the mining, and then just pick them up and add them to your army later on, it's still good. And he's got 1 damage Stalker, but other than that, 2 of the Stalkers are virtually unharmed, so it's a good addition to the army, especially since he's done some mining delay as well. And he has been able to scout out the army of InArmourClad with that harassment as well.
Now that we see the what exactly wants to go, he's just going to get Colossus and Storm, because if you have 1 form of AoE, why not get more? 2 is always better than 1. Do you agree, Shockwave?
2 forms of AoE is always better than 1, but it's going to be problematic trying to get Colossi from his robotic facility right now, because it is hemmed in here, and his Colossi has no way of getting out. So this might prove to be a mistake with this building placement.
Yeah, well, he may either cancel the gateway if he realizes it, or kill it off. Either way, he'll work it out eventually.
Now he has stopped these upgrades from the Forge, so there's only the +1 attack that he's got. He's getting Zealot legs now, so he's getting the charge upgrade for Zealots, which is good against these Marauders. But we're seeing +2 on the way from InArmourClad, so he's going to be massively ahead in the upgrade race here. And he's taking a 4th base, which is just going to get cancelled off because of this Warp Prism harass. It's just going to sit there, wait until the army gets here, pick it up, and tell them to go home.
He actually tries to focus down on the Warp Prism, and he does actually kill everything off there, which is good, and doesn't actually lose the Command Center. The Command Center is on 74 health, and it's going to send over another SCV, go and finish that off, but currently on 3 bases and going up to 4, whereas Big Ben is still only on 2 bases, and his main is literally almost mined out with about 200, 300 on each of these mineral patches, and he's just not going to have enough in the near future.
So we're going to look to see a huge attack out of Big Ben, and then that's probably going to be it. Well, there we go. Someone got spammed, and InArmourClad is showing us his hotkey spam.
Gotta love that hotkey spam. Every time I do lag, I see it all the time. It is kind of amazing.
So we are seeing Marine Marauder +3 coming out for weapons, Terran weapons and armor. He did see that the Colossi might be coming out. The factory's still surviving. It can fly back in whenever it wants. Colossi being chrono boosted out. Sorry, we're gonna see if it gets trapped or not.
Well, Storm did just finish up here, so he does have that threat of Templar, which is kind of very scary for any Terran player, and any Terran will tell you that Storm is probably the most hated thing that they hate versing, at low levels especially.
Oh, and Flip Zerg as well as a Zerg player, it's very... Oh, and the Colossi gets through by the skin of his teeth, squeezing in through between the gateway and the Nexus there. So this Colossi will be marching down to join his comrades, preparing these Templar as well, because Storm is finished. He's almost got extended thermal lance. +2 is almost done, but against this armor level 3, that'll be done by the time the army reaches here, or to be basically going down halfway through this battle. He's going to be very behind, and this army is going to be very resistant to any sort of damage that's coming out of these units.
I'm actually surprised here that InArmourClad hasn't moved out yet. He has been up about at least 60 supply for most of the game, now only just moving out now, and that advantage that he had has been slowly slipping away with each minute passing, that he hasn't put on any form of aggression with either drop play or just being at the front of his opponent's base. And now his opponent has gotten to the stage where he does have Colossus on the way, he does have Storm available, and quite a few of them actually, with pretty high energy, or half energy on 3 and full energy on 1. And I just don't see a whole lot happening here. He will probably kill off this third base though, but I do believe Big Ben does see that those rocks are being attacked.
So here comes the army, preparing to sweep in. He's got the Immortal out, just 1 Colossi for now. Fair enough, if he's only got 1 Colossi, should be doing a lot of damage, but these Vikings are here, and there's the huge Storm running his army.
Massive Storms killing almost every single Marine there, stimming as well, just killing them, and so many units to just go down to these Storms. The army of Big Ben is just sweeping through the Terran forces right here, and InArmourClad is on full retreat. He's probably going to lose a lot of these units if he's not careful. Now he will be able to pick off these the Zealots here. He needs to be very careful. He's just going to use the medevac boost, ignite afterburners, and get the hell out of there. And holy crap, expansion InArmourClad.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of expansions. I don't think it's not... I do not think... Oh, he's finally... Oh, there we go. He's finally spotted the new expansion there. A lot of expansions coming down for InArmourClad. I think he just wants these mules out. The best bet right now against this sort of army is to go heavy Marauder play, maybe get a few siege tanks. Especially what he needs right now is the mech, because Marine Marauder, whilst good, will lose to this sort of engagement, but there is only 1 Colossi, which is good. I think he did manage to snipe a fair few of the Templar, only 3 remaining, I believe.
Yeah.
Remaining.
Well, if he just gets out a large number of Marauders here, he will be able to actually do quite vast amounts of damage to these Stalkers, because he's such a high number of them. And if he just gets 1 or 2 mines here or there, I know they're not that valuable in this situation, but he'd just be able to do a lot of damage to this massive army of just Zealots and Stalkers. But Big Ben is knocking on his doorstep, and he's going to have to evac away from his third base here, and he's going to lose all these 3 barracks and all these mules if he doesn't drop them in the near future at another base.
Unfortunately, he did lose a couple of SUVs through poor pathing. A lot of them did head off to the left, but some of the SUVs decided we're ballsy, so we're just going to go straight through the Protoss army. And here's the engagement. Excellent concave here for InArmourClad, but he's going to pull away, force Big Ben out into an even better engagement from him, pulling the units away. Looks like a good storm, though, is actually going to tear up all of these units, and this should be getting close to GG soon.
Especially with all these zealots here on the left-hand side of the army, just going to be taking out all of those reinforcing marauders and marines. They're just getting sliced to pieces, and they're just moving into the wall of doom, which is the zealot Cyblade. And now there's a whole bunch of them, a whole bunch of the forces now moving into another third base, the fourth base of InArmourClad, and he's just going to be losing all these SCVs. And just the zealots, man, just getting so many kills. Currently,
and we see a huge warp in of 10 zealots come swap. First wave of 10 zealots warping in from home. Second wave of 10 zealots warping in from home. He doesn't have any sort of proxy, so they have a long way to walk indeed. But this death ball's pretty much signed InArmourClad's death. There's not much that he can take this, but if he can take this, Big Ben has a huge bank to come back on, but there's no production here from him. He hasn't been throwing down any other. There's the extra gateways he needs. He's got a huge amount of bank, as I just said. So he should be fine if he expands off the back of this and keeps Terran, or keeps InArmourClad locked in his base, because he's got the 2 Colossi. I think we did see a couple of more. There they are.
Yeah, there's no High Templar here, so he can pretty much engage us directly. Just needs to kite back here, and he can do a lot of damage just kiting these zealots all day. And that's exactly all that he needs to do in this circumstance. There's no storm or anything like that. He can just easily do it. And
there we go. Yeah, this arm's pretty much done now.
Big Ben throwing away quite a large number of units here to InArmourClad. He's just going to continue stemming forward, and he's going to take out these retreating forces.
So he's just going to get everything he can, taking out these retreating forces. If he can snipe this solo Colossi, that'll be so much AoE that goes down just by getting 1 Colossi. But no, he stops it short, leaving the Colossi on half health. He should have kept chasing after that Colossi. Expending a Viking or 2 for that 1 Colossi is a huge advantage for him, because Vikings make a lot faster than Colossi. They move fast, they have a much bigger range as well. So he's moving into the third base of Big Ben, hoping to strike more damage against him. And if
actually, if he kills this, there's no mining from Big Ben. If you look at this natural, he's only got 5 remaining resources from that base. Yes, he does have a little bit of a bank, but if he engages this correctly, which from the looks of it, he kind of is, but if he engages this right flanks and kills off the Colossus, he can do it. Just back up. He actually ended up killing the Nexus, and if he just backs up here, regroups on the economy that he has with all these hidden bases up to the north, he should be fine.
But as we can see, Big Ben is saying, I want this to end now. You've taken out my only mining base. This is my last push. And holy mother of Templar, he's going to be dropping storms on this army. He's going to be dropping the base.
All 8 of them are going to be sending all of their electrical wub onto this army here, and it just needs to be very careful of those storms. But if you can engage this right, oh god, something's happening. And it could blink down directly over InArmourClad's forces. They're just going down so quickly. The Stalker's just doing so much damage, being so high with the 3 attack. They're just doing so much damage. Storm did actually go on most of his army there and took down quite a few shields, but he's going to keep blinking and following this army. InArmourClad on 80 supply and dropping fast down about half the supply of Big Ben. Big Ben's going into the natural here, and he's just going to expand off by the back of this as well. He's going into the natural, just going to keep blinking forward, get up into the production line of InArmourClad. This Immortal is going to be doing so much damage to all of these armored structures, and just from here, GG is called. InArmourClad is going to take this game. No, he's going to lose this game.
Yep.
And, oh man. So we see from this random player, it was Protoss, Zerg last game, and just dominating the game with a whole bunch of mutaplay. And we did see him spawn as Terran this time. So yeah, currently it is 1-1 in this best of 3 series. Thank you very much, Shockwave, for casting this one with me. It was a pleasure.
No problem.
And I'll see you
Always my pleasure.
See you in the next one. Bye bye.
See you next time. Bye bye, guys.